Today we are joined by Richard Andrews.
Backing yourself as an individual, but the core thing has been around how can I help my client?
How AI is getting into the picture.
And also some things that I'm doing for myself and my own business.
Welcome everybody. Welcome to the Marketing Tarot, where we pull a card, spark a conversation, and turn chaos into clarity, one growth professional at a time. I'm your host, Charu, and today we are joined by Richard Andrews, who plays a diverse set of roles, I must say. That includes being the CEO and founder of Now Creative Partnership, fractional COO, board advisor, and non-executive director, with deep experience in strategic transformation, operational leadership, and cross-functional oversight. Richard brings a rare combination of vision, discipline, and execution that accelerates growth and strengthens organizations. Great to have you, Richard. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here, Charu. Thank you for inviting me to this chat. I'm very excited.
You're most welcome. Well, before we dive into Richard's journey, if you're new here, please join us on our journey by subscribing to our channel for more stories, insights, and latest trends. Thank you very much. So, Richard, let's get into it. Let's start with your journey, your story. I'm always curious to know, how did you find your way into sales, marketing, operations, and strategy? Tell me.
Yeah, it's a really good question, and I sort of think a lot of it wasn't necessarily done with a really clear strategic plan in mind. I started off in retail banking in the UK, but even within that, I wanted to challenge myself. There was always something new I wanted to learn. There were different roles. I thought, oh, that looks interesting. I wonder if I can kind of go and do that over there. But so I think the common theme was really around trying to challenge myself, trying to learn more, trying to understand more, being super curious about the way that different functions within the retail bank worked, and then seeing if I could actually give it a go and try it. So some of the moves that I had were sideways moves because I hadn't run a team before, or moving into a kind of promotion because I wanted to run a bigger team. I also started picking up different types of project work in addition to the day job. So again, I was learning new things. I was being exposed to different people. And I think that fed my desire to challenge myself even more. So I think that was the beginning of it. And then it was something that then became a theme throughout my career. So when I left banking, I took a big dive and a big risk by jumping into digital 1.0 back in all those years ago in 1999, where we were doing things with Razorfish that we hadn't done for clients before. So we were writing the book as we were going along. So that's been a theme throughout my career, really, because then I went into consulting, into services, into running a tech consulting firm, and now into my role, which is more of a portfolio where I'm working for several clients simultaneously and trying to juggle different hats, but also different mindsets. So being able to switch from kind of being a program director for one client and then working on advising a founder around how she can scale her fashion business and supporting her to build the right team around her. So that variety and that challenging of myself on a daily basis is something that I thoroughly enjoy. And I think it gives me a reason to leap out of bed this morning. And I think it feeds me with a lot of energy because the day is always exciting.
Yeah, I agree. But was there a particular moment or a shift that literally shaped the way you work today? Was there a case in point that you remember?
Yeah. I think there've been several moments where I've thought I need to take a leap of faith and do something different. So I think when I left Barclays to go into Razorfish, that was a big leap because, of course, it was very comfortable where I was in Barclays. There was a career path mapped out ahead of me, and I thought, God, it's going to be really boring. So shall I take a pay cut? Shall I go to an industry which is very, very different to the one I started my career in? And I took that leap of faith. And I think at some point you've got to back yourselves and bet yourself and think, look, I've got some really great experience, a really unique point of view. I've got skills and experience which is transferable from where I am today into this new environment. Yes, there's going to be lots of things I need to learn. However, I can learn that, but the qualities that I've got are super powerful and super valuable in that new environment. So I think backing yourself as an individual and sometimes taking a leap of faith when you're thinking, my God, you're giving up a lot and you're risking a lot. But I think if you do it with passion, with energy, and recognize there's still a lot you've got to learn, you've got to prove yourself in your new environment, I think that's something that you can do more than once, because I did that moving out of retail banking into digital the first time round. I did it going from digital into management consulting, and also from management consulting into outsourcing. So there's been a lot of changes of different industries that I've done. But the core thing has been around how can I help my clients do things better, faster, cheaper? Is there a new mindset or a new perspective that I can bring, which is actually really going to help them accelerate what they're doing? So despite the leaps of faith, there's a common theme, which I think is my value proposition, which is thinking differently, adding energy, and trying to push the transformation or the conversation forward.
Amazing. And since you've, tasted so many industries and so many departments and companies, what do you think? What's that one belief about leadership that you have unlearned, not learned, unlearned over these years that you don't apply anymore, maybe?
There's a very clear one in my mind to answer that question. I think so many leaders are made to feel that you need to know everything. And I've said to my teams in so many of my roles in recent years, I'm not an expert. I trust that my marketing director is an expert in marketing. I'll have a point of view, and I'll want to debate with them around what are the best things that we should be doing. And the same thing with the sales director. What's working well? What isn't working well? How can we turn the dial? Who else do we need in the room in order to do that? So I think unlearning the big lie that a leader needs to be an expert in everything, because it's not true. I think what a leader needs to do is recognize what they know well, recognize where they've got gaps, and make sure that they've got a really strong team around them so that together you're covering all the bases. So I think that's the key one for me.
That's great. Yeah, it's all about teamwork, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then how AI is getting into the picture in all of this, like, maybe the way you think about creativity or growth, where does AI play a part?
Yeah, I think it's AI is it's ever present. It's everybody's talking about it all the time. The way that I think about it is it's a tool. We've got to be using the tool in the right way. Can it help us do things better, faster, cheaper? Yes. Do we want to outsource too much to our AI tools where we lose the authenticity, or whether the messages we're putting out there feel a little bit like they're not really coming from the person or the brand? Yes, at times. But I think for me, the greatest gift that AI has given me is time back, because I think many people, in whatever level you are in an organization, we quite often lack thinking time. So if I'm using some various AI tools in order to do some stuff that I've just got to get out, so I've got to do some communications about something, I've got to pull some information together. If I can use AI tools to get it 80% there, and then I spend 20% of the time putting it into the final product to then issue, that's great, because that could be saving me half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours a day. I can then use that time to be workshopping with other members of my team, either leadership team or product team or project team, and using that time to ideate about where are we going now, what do we want to achieve going forward. So AI is giving me a wonderful gift of some time back that I can then use to really think about where I want to take my project, my team, my business forward. So I think that for me is the key value in it. Of course, I've got many clients who are adopting various tools. That's also very important, because you've got to empower your people. And there's a plethora of proof of concepts going on across organizations. I think it's important to recognize that there's distinct values to enhancing communication, particularly in a B2C relationship with your customers, and that absolutely should be embraced. So there's some really good I think opportunities to employ the technology at scale. But let's not forget the personal impact that it can have just by giving you some time back where you could really do with some thinking time, some workshopping time with the people around you.
Yeah, I think if anything, it's just making us more efficient and taking away the redundant tasks that we don't like doing. Sometimes
Exactly.
everybody has a few things that they don't like, maybe writing an email or, formatting a document or whatever you may call it, right?
Exactly.
That's perfect. Yeah. And I know you spoke about what you're doing right now, Richard, but give us a sense of, are there any particular objectives that you're aiming to achieve in the next 3 to 6 months? And what's like your next chapter looking like for you?
Yeah. Again, Charu, that's a really interesting question, because there's things that I'm doing for the clients that I'm working with, but there's also some things that I'm doing for myself and my own business. So in terms of my current clients, so I'm working with a regulator in the UK, and we'll begin launching some new digital products into the market to help support consumers to make sure that they're safeguarded from their investment decisions, and also provide better information out to professionals within the UK financial services ecosystem. So that's very exciting. I'm also working with the founder of a fashion brand who is scaling her business. So I'm helping her build the right team around her, put in place the right processes, the right individuals to drive greater marketing activity, to sign new commercial partnerships and get her products out into more stores, and also increase the traffic to her website. So she's getting greater revenue in directly rather than going through any wholesalers or retailers. I'm also working with a number of individuals who I coach on an ongoing basis. So in fact, I'm starting with a new one on Monday, but we'll be having our first coaching session then. But certainly over these summer months, for the next couple of months, I'm actually taking a little bit of a step back and just looking at what my own personal value proposition is, because I'm thinking ahead to what I want to be doing in about a year's time. I'm recognizing the lifespan of some of the projects and engagements that I'm on, and I want to do some thinking now around what am I going to be taking to market? What am I going to start selling? Where do I need to be selling? Where do I need to be doing some marketing activity to promote my brand and our propositions? So I want to spend the next couple of months pulling together some more detailed plans around that, to then start some outreach around that in the autumn, with a view that will turn into some leads, which will then turn into some sales, which will then be keeping me and potentially some associates busy come the end of next year. So a lot to do, but it's not stuff to do which is going to be providing an immediate benefit for me and my business. It's sowing the seeds and getting the thinking in place now for something that I think is going to then flourish in a year's time.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, as long as you have a plan, we just keep following it, and then, eventually you get to the journey and the destination.
Exactly.
So thank you for that. If you're enjoying this conversation so far, please make sure you follow our channel and tap the bell icon. That way you'll get notified every time we drop a new episode with a founder, creator, or a marketer rewriting the rules like Richard. Thank you very much. All right, fantastic. We are on our next section, Richard, which is the card pull section. It's one of the interactive sections that I love and our guests love. So it's time for your card, and I'm going to share the deck with you. Don't get too nervous. It's all, very, it's not the real tarot. it's just gamification. But yeah. So, Richard, the card that you pulled today, let me randomly select one for you. Do you have an idea of what you want to pull? You can make a call too.
No, that one looks good for me. Let's go with that.
All right. Let's see what it is. The funnel. So today, the card that you have chosen, Richard, is the funnel. It basically reflects the journey of conversion and the process on how you get a lead and finally it goes down to become a customer. How does this card show up in what you're currently doing or your thought process?
Yeah, so I think this is such an interesting one, and I think for many businesses, I think this is the most challenging one. It's very easy if you're a big, well-known consulting brand, because you've got that wonderful, globally recognized name above the door. People are going to come knocking on your door. But if you're a smaller business, this can be the most challenging piece of all. I think for me, and certainly some of the clients that I've been working with, it's really, really important to think about how we can get one's name out there. But what's really, really important to do that is you've got to start with the people that you know. So it's got to be within one's own network. And LinkedIn's great for that. There's obviously other, networking events and so on. But I think engagement with your existing network is absolutely critical. When I think about my career history, pretty much every job that I've ever got has actually been through my network. I think there's only been one where I've actually applied for it and taken the role. Everything else has been through my network. So it's partly built on personal brand, of course, because you've got to be good in your role and people want to work with you again. So that's critical. But it's the same when you're trying to set up your sales funnel and sales pipeline. You've got to work with the people who know you, who understand what your value proposition is, but you've got to be really clear about it. So don't try and do too many things. And then you've got to push good messages out and have a good rhythm so that people are seeing your messages, they're seeing your point of view, they're understanding the value that you can create for them or for people in their network. And then they start engaging with that. And some things are not going to work. So you may need to pivot. So look at how people are engaging with one's posts, but also when you're having conversations and you're starting to go out and call up and speak to people in your network, are people responding to some themes more than others? So staying agile and being able to pivot and fine tune and polish what you're doing as you go is critical. And recognize it is a funnel. So there's a lot of stuff that needs to go in the top for this to actually process down to one or two decent leads, which might end up being one decent win. So I think it's not being too disheartened about it and recognizing there's a ton of work to go in the top of that funnel for some gold to come out the bottom of it. Does that answer the question for you, Charu?
Yeah, any which way this card applies to, how you work in today's day and age is very relevant. And I completely agree. I mean, community and partnership matters more today than any other day, would say, in any era. So definitely leverage that, as you said. And I mean, you have led across different departments in the company. So what do you think that one thread that ties all of this together, and makes the funnel, move basically?
Yes, I think it's the team really, because you're right. So I've been the MD of a tech consulting firm, so I've had sales, marketing, operational delivery, all of the normal kind of corporate functions from the office management through to HR, finance, procurement, payroll, all of this kind of stuff. I think what we need to keep really, really front of mind is that all of these different communities of subject matter experts all play their role in helping a business grow and be more successful. So everybody's got to be playing well together. You can have a great sales team, but if you're not doing anything from a marketing perspective, that's a bit pointless. Or if you've got a great sales and marketing function, but actually delivery is really, really bad, well, a customer with a bad experience because we failed to deliver is going to tell a lot of people, don't touch that firm. So everybody's got to be pulling together. So that's why when I used to have my stand-ups with my leadership team, is getting people together so we're all sharing what's going on, understanding how we can help and support each other with the challenges that we've got. And I think a key thing that everybody in the organization can do, so it's from the most senior people down to the new grad or new hire at who's very, very junior, is we're all ambassadors for the firm that we work for or for the clients that we work with. And we've got to be ambassadors for ourselves as well. So when we're interacting with people in a professional setting or in a personal setting, you never know who you're going to be meeting in a restaurant or in a museum or in a bar. It's a great opportunity to connect with people, share some knowledge, some information, also be interested in what they're doing, because in those interactions also, there can be some great opportunities that present themselves. So it's, for me, I think, I'm always thinking about, if I see somebody post something on LinkedIn, do I know somebody who could be doing that job? So I'm reposting a lot of messages where people are hiring at the moment, because it can be a bit of a tough market for many out there. So I'm just trying to make sure I'm leveraging the network as much as possible. And similarly, if I'm in a conversation with someone, as I was only a little while ago around doing a round table, they were struggling to find venues. Now, I know a great firm that finds venues. And so I connected them, and within 2-3 hours of their first conversation, they had a list of about half a dozen venues of the right type for the event, for the round table that they were hosting. So looking at where you can actually contribute, make connections, and leverage your network, I think, is critical.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you for that. All right, so let's talk about strategy now, Richard, the strategy you're navigating right now. I'm going to share the full deck with you. And if you could pull a 3-card spread for your current strategy, you can have a project or a case that you have in mind. Let's pull a three-card spread and see what your strategy is and what are you thinking and why. So let me share the deck. So here are all the cards. You can go select one by one or all 3 at a time, whatever you want.
So I think if we start at the top row, that the one which was really catching my eye there was the customer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also the disruption, which is also in the top row.
I love that card. Yeah.
Me too. And I think, do you know what? I might keep it simple and just go, let's go with the storyteller as well in the top row.
Mm-hmm. All right. All 3. Let's see here. All right. Do you want to explain a little bit more about why you're choosing these 3?
Yeah, so I think the customer, because the customer for me is always the most important thing. We should all be organizing all of our thought, all of our energy and our passion around creating the best outcome for that customer. And that's either an existing customer that we're already working with, or if it's a target that we're trying to get to, a particular kind of role or persona in a client organization or a particular organization, a particular sector. We've got to have an understanding of what's really important for them, because otherwise what we do from a marketing and a sales perspective is not going to resonate with them. So we've really got to have them at the very core of everything that we do. So that's why I chose that one. In terms of the disruption, I naturally think about how can we be doing things differently. It's great to look at organizations and think, okay, my client is here, they want to be there. What are their competitors doing? And let's just copy that, because that's naturally going to help our client rise up through the ranks. The top performers in any industry aren't there just because they copy their 1 or 2 competitors that are slightly better than them. There's an element of getting some foundational stuff right, which is really important, but we've got to look at how we're doing things differently. How do we disrupt the market? How can we write the new book on how you do things? So I think that that's really, really important in terms of, I think, a mindset in the way in which we engage with our customer and understand what's important for them. Also keeping in mind that some customers don't necessarily want to be disruptive. They might not want to be number 1 in their industry vertical or in their geography. They might just want to be a bit better at what they do. So we've got to temper that. And the reason why I chose the storyteller is because I think we can have a really great understanding of a customer. We can have a really good idea of some great things that we can do to be really disruptive and get a lot of attention in the market. But we've got to be able to articulate what that is, not only the interventions that we think the customer should be taking, but what those outcomes are, because we've got to get everybody to go on the journey, and we've got to make sure that in times of where there's lots of change and we might be restructuring an organization, we might be launching new products, how can we make sure that all the resources and all the people within the organization understand the vision and the direction we want to take, and they're supportive of that. Also, they might actually, and so storytelling is so critical, I think, to that, to be able to engage with the people in the organization, to make sure that they're on board, and that we're also harvesting insights from them, which could actually enrich what we want to do from a disruptive play. So that's why I chose those three, because I think they just resonate with me very strongly today.
Yeah, I love Richard, how you used storytelling to engage people within an organization. Usually, in marketing, we talk about how to tell a story and engage the audience outwards. But unless you have your team and your organization engaged and aware of the vision and the story, I think that just adds another layer of value for when you're actually going and marketing out in the market. That's amazing. Yeah, I love the hand.
And I think this is where marketing teams have a great power, not only to push those messages out into the marketplace and engage with different audiences there, but also to help that engagement internally in the organization as well. So for me, it's two sides of a really valuable gold coin.
Right. And a follow-up question, which I think you might have also answered along the way, but how do you kind of rebuild trust inside a particular organization, maybe which has gone through a lot of changes, turbulence? How do you rebuild that?
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good question. And it's not something that's really simple and really easy to do. I think in my career history, I've worked in lots of organizations going through rapid change, or I've been the person delivering the rapid change to them. So I think open, honest, transparent communication, and also two-way communication. So there's good feedback coming from the people in the organization. And there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, do you know what? We tried this and it didn't work. And as a result of that, we've actually lost trust with some of the employees or with some of the customers and so on, because it's far better to go, look, we recognize where we are, we recognize the mistakes that we've made. What we want to do is to address that and work together to actually take the project or the business to a different place. And this is something that we'll collaborate on and do together. And we need to recognize that there's a number of things that we need to do as part of that. But we might also never get to the point to where the trust was before. But we've got to pull together and make sure that we communicate really, really clearly. So having some great storytelling, talking about the vision, the kind of the disruptive approach we're going to take. We're going to do these things because we think it's going to take us to a new place and a better place. But we've got to work together to do that. And it's got to be two-way communication. We can't just go in and just go, this is what we're going to do. We know that you're really unhappy and you don't trust us anymore, because people aren't going to be operating at their optimal level, which is what we want. Or you might find that many of the key people you want to retain are going to leave. So the outcomes are really quite negative for the transformation you want to deliver. So open, honest communication, which is fully two-way, and being able to do that mea culpa and just going, yes, we made a mistake, but we're here to fix it and we'll fix it together. I think that authenticity will really help start the process of rebuilding trust, but recognize it could take a very long time. It might not quite get back to the peak that it once was.
Agree. And this is a personally intriguing question to me, but what's that first capability a company must build before it can really go out there and scale? Like, is there a, sort of a platform it must have before it can go way out?
Yeah, yeah. I think again that's a really, really interesting question. There's a number of things. You've got to have your basic processes and systems in place, but I think there needs to be a vision which everybody can get behind, and I think the vision needs to be quite simple and not too broad. I think where I've struggled in the past is where I had a consulting firm, but I had a number of different propositions which were taken to market. So it was a case of people saying, well, what are you famous for? If I go to you, where is your expertise? If you're doing Google and AWS and ServiceNow and MuleSoft and Salesforce and some data and some security, it sounds like you're all things to all people. And that's a very difficult sell from a marketing perspective, because what do we want to be known for in the market? So what I would say is, if you have one product or one proposition, that's great, because everybody can get behind it. You're talking about one thing and you launch that. So focus on getting one thing out there and you'll be really famous for that. And then when you're coming to add your additional propositions or products, they'll grow from being complementary to maybe your first. So I think not trying to keep it simple by articulating really clearly, this is what we do, because then that's a vision that everyone can get behind. And if you start with one, rather than trying to deliver 5 at the same time, because then the messages are a bit mixed and people don't know what's the priority product or what's the priority proposition. So I think that clarity and storytelling is really clear about that. This is the customer need we're trying to meet, and that should be the theme of all of the marketing communications activity. We have this type of customer. This is their challenge area. This is how our product or our proposition is going to be addressing that, and this is what we as an organization are passionate about solving in terms of the challenge that they've got or the opportunity that they've got as a result of it. So clarity around messaging is the critical foundational piece for me.
Amazing. I love the word clarity, by the way. That's my favorite word. You told me you're working on a fashion brand, right, Richard?
Yeah.
So what's that story you're trying to tell through your brand right now? Like, just as an example, and using these 3 cards in the background. Can you give us a little insight into that?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a woman-founded, woman-run firm. The artisans who make the clothes and also make the fabrics, it's all women-led. It's very much around using natural fabrics, using organic dyes, and making clothes where women feel great every single day. And it's called Designer Friday. So we have women artisans in India who are making the fabrics, who are making the clothes themselves. The female founder is inspirational in terms of the fact that she designs the stuff. She, so she's really a kind of bit of a one-woman band, and I'm trying to help her realize that actually she can't have the weight of the world on her shoulders. She needs a good team around her. And sometimes you've got to have more of a team and then share some of the accountability, because then the business can scale faster and be more profitable and more successful, and also touch more lives by making the customers who wear their clothes feel great. But it's also then improving the lives of all of the artisans, all the women in India who are actually creating the fabrics and creating the clothes, and it's giving them greater opportunities as well. So it's a really holistic, lovely ecosystem, and one that I'm very happy to be a part of, doing the little bit that I'm doing to support Bhavna as the founder and driving force behind the brand, because it's a brand that's there for purpose as well as to it's not purely selling beautifully made, beautiful apparel. It's got purpose behind it as well.
It's wonderful. I love the story already.
Thank you. Well, you must check them out. Designer Friday. They do some amazing stuff, and there's new ranges which we're bringing in as well. So there's a lot of growth going on in a lot of areas. So I hope you enjoy it if you do have a look at them.
Absolutely. And we will tag them on the video as well so that our users can also visit their website or, their store. Um, Thank you, Richard. Now we are almost at the end of our conversation, but as we close, I'd love your thoughts on the question that's passed by our previous guest. We have this ritual of
Mm,
the previous guest leaving a question for the next one. And this one was one of my favorites. She asked, which core trait helps you reinterpret challenges as stepping stones rather than obstacles?
yes.
I'm sure it comes across in your day-to-day life. So what is that core
Yeah.
trait within you?
I think that's a really interesting question. And I think I've got a load of different words are popping into my head about what that could be. I think for me, it's about agility, but I don't mean just like in agile development. I do in a certain way because I think it's a case of understanding where you are, taking stock of where you are, and then seeing where is that step going to take you next, to build on what you've done previously, to build on what you're doing now, and then to take the next stepping stone. So, so I think for me, if we're agile in doing that, when we fail quickly, but we learn, and that can then help us make the right choice for the next move, the next role, the next company, the next industry. As somebody who's jumped around a lot from a lot of different stepping stones in my career, it's something that I enjoy, that variety. So I think the agility around the mindset that I've got there, I think will help me take the next leap of faith, or help me just pick something else, which I think is going to be really interesting and really challenging, and something where I can learn. So I think the agility around keeping the stock of where I am, where I've come from, but where it's going to help me with my decision making for the next thing. I hope
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think this was a very apt question for you. I think so. It's just it's a great answer. Thank you for that. And well, now any question, or what's a question you'd like to pass to the next guest, maybe?
Yeah, that's an interesting. It's something I've thought a bit about since you told me I should be thinking about that, and I thought about a number of things. I think from a marketing perspective, I suppose this idea came to me because it's something I never got quite right, and I thought with the wonderful community of people that you've got who are doing this session, and also all the people who are subscribing and following this, they've probably got an answer for me. I think about my customer, and I think about my new customer, so that I haven't won them yet. I'm thinking about, what are the best or most successful interventions that maybe one of your experts has done, which has helped them engage with their target customer before the sales team and lead gen people got involved. So is there something from a marketing perspective that they've done which has really resonated with a prospective client, so that when the sales team are phoned up, they go, yeah, we know your firm. I really loved it because you did X or you said Y or whatever. So just maybe a little success story or idea that somebody's got around what they did, which was surprising in the way that it engaged with a potential customer before the sales team got involved.
Wow, that's very well thought. I mean, I think those campaigns are the uncelebrated heroes, so to say, because, people get influenced. They have a look at something, a video, an ad, and that kind of catches their eye. It's all about just
Yes.
catching your eye. That's wonderful. I'm going to think about that as well.
Thank you, Charu. Well, I look forward to hearing your perspective, your answer to that question as well.
Sure, I'll share that. Here we are at the end of our conversation. Richard, thank you so much for sharing your story, your strategy, and your wisdom. I enjoyed it. How was it for you?
It was absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, Charu. It's been a real joy, and I'm going away feeling really energized by it. So thank you very much.
Of course, you're most welcome. And to our guests, if you enjoyed this conversation, please make sure to subscribe for more such stories, insights, and weekly marketing wisdom. And don't forget to please tap the bell icon so you never miss what's coming next. Until next time, may our next marketing move be clear, and I will see you shortly. Thank you.